we dole out a few dollars to the poor guy. We say, here, look, let me put off your starvation for a few days and give him a few dollars.
Give him a few bags of rice.
Yes, and then given their level of what would you call it, maturity, they fight over the rice and kill each other over it. Or their government seizes the rice and sells it to them, and sells it to their poor. That's where our world is. That's the conspiracy of ineffectiveness. Our world does not work in the manner in which it's right now.
It doesn't matter whether we're rich, poor, single, married, little, old, none of it, you're saying none of it is working.
None of it. The only thing every individual, every person on the planet needs to be working towards is their own personal transformation. That's the only thing that makes a difference. What do you mean
by personal transformation?
The actual discovery of the self, the discarding of the ego, and the discovery of the self. That's the only thing I say that will right the ship. It's the only place that we will create balance is when we discover our own insanity.
So
only insane people would live like we're living worldwide.
So you're talking about changing the structure of the mind of the whole world.
Yeah. Not changing it, transforming it.
Transforming it.
A small task. We should take a couple days to get her done. Where's Larry the cable guy? We needed to get her done.
That is too huge, Edward. Would you say that this is just a small pebble thrown in the ocean?
Well,
what you're trying to do, it's almost, maybe there are a few others out there that have had a transformation of consciousness. Is that what you would call it, a transformation of consciousness?
And it's not something that I'm trying to do, it's something I'm delivering. So while the world can laugh, if you remember that Sean Mays today said, I don't want a new consciousness, I'm happy with my old consciousness. I smile when I hear somebody say something like that, because it's inevitable now. It will be delivered. Or
what?
The only thing that's not inevitable about it is if the guy who's happy in the consciousness now blows us off of the planet before this transformation.
So you're saying if we just sit back and say, because we know, Edward, that the majority of the wealth is held by what?
5% of the people.
5% of the people. So those 5% of the people are going to have the control.
And they're going to fight what it is that I'm talking about.
And because everything is hunky-dory with them, just the way it is, I've got all this money and I've got enough, I can feed some poor people in Africa and give them some computers.
Make myself feel pretty good.
And all that. So they're going to say, well, I'm not, everything's fine. We don't need a new consciousness.
Let me tell you the true strength of this transformation and what it will cause, Marilyn. All the way from the 5% of the richest people on the planet, they gain their wealth through the manipulation of the masses. Can we go real slow here? So through the manipulation of the masses, the wealthy gain their wealth, and by virtue of that, the more they manipulate the masses, the greater the gain of wealth. Do you follow so far?
Yes, but I don't see how they're manipulating.
Okay, I'm coming to that. So this manipulation of the robot is what gains those folks the wealth, and the greater the manipulation of the robot, the greater the wealth is to the wealthy.
Who are the robots?
Hold on. We are. You are.
Why am I?
I am. The people who are at the effect of the very wealthy.
You're just calling us robots.
Exactly. When we're paying for our internet and we're paying for our television and we're paying, if there was a way for them to do it, they would make us pay for so many hours a day of sunshine and so much air and so much water. They haven't figured out how to harness that yet, or they would, and then we would be charged for that. However, it's not really them, because they couldn't, if I may use this word loosely, they couldn't manipulate the masses unless the masses were there to manipulate. Now here's where the real key to it comes in. the thing being used to manipulate the masses is being trickled down and trickled down and trickled down. You can hear it when you hear people from the internet say, "Learn from me how to write copy so that people will buy from you. Learn from me how to write persuasive articles," and all of those things.
So the manipulation is trickling down, and
the learning of it.
And everybody's trying to manipulate the person just below
them, which in turn makes it even worse. You would think that it makes it better, but it makes it worse. The manipulation keeps, because always it takes the stepping on the one below you in order to gain yourself.
So, but all they're trying to do is making money. So you're saying that making money is a manipulation? Are you saying that making money is a manipulation?
Well, for the sake of this conversation, yes. Now, we could have another whole book about that, but yes, it is. Now,
what would be the whole other book about it in a nutshell?
We'd have to start off and then lay out a life on planet Earth without money, which would take some talk about it. But let me continue with this other, because we stopped it in the middle. So the activity of transformation, and you're actually beginning to learn some of this, is the waking up of the self. Now, don't forget, here, let's look at this closely. What did I say that the wealthy rely on?
The masses.
Which are?
The little people.
And what do I call the little people, the masses?
Robots.
So they have their manipulative forces at work manipulating the robot. The person sound asleep, the one who is not real, the one who is not as they were when they were born. So this sound asleep person, neither are they. They are while they are using those forces are being used back on them as well. So it's a round and round we go. Where it stops, nobody knows. But here is the stopper of it. When you wake up, let's use the word wake up this time instead of transform. Suddenly, you say, well, look at this manipulation. Look at these people. It's happening with religion. Some people are waking from religion, and they're saying, well, wait a minute. What's this ridiculous? Oh, just hold on and let me finish it. So the masses are beginning to awaken to the manipulation. Now, what happens then? What happens to the people at the top who've been using these same forms of manipulation for thousands?
They got to find a new way of manipulating.
All right, but if the awakened entity sees the manipulation that has been happening for thousands of years, then when the wealthy and the controllers, when they start manufacturing a new form of manipulation, what's the first thing the awake person's going to see?
The manipulation.
The new form of manipulation.
Oh, the new form.
It means the total destruction of the wealth. That's what transformation means. That's what awakening means, because awakening means to move outside of the domain of the manipulated, of the manipulated. Because
so we wake up and we see that we are being manipulated.
Exactly. And then not only that, we see how they're manipulating us.
You say everybody's conspiring.
Yes, because we do the same thing. It's not just necessarily, this needs to get in writing, because it's not just them who manipulate us.
But we're manipulating.
Then we, yes, our children, and you're beginning to experience some of this for yourself, because you're starting to come out of the dream world called mother and the dream world called parent, and that whole dream, that whole nightmare, actually. So you're seeing all of the manipulation that not only has been being used on you, but that you use on them.
Well, a lot of people don't call it manipulation, they call it teaching. I'm teaching my child.
Well, yes, that's manipulation. Some people call it family. No, that's another whole conversation. So, do you see what I'm saying? Not only are we at the effect of the manipulation from above, let's call it from above, since we're talking about large amounts of money down to smaller amounts of money, but then we use the same forces not as effectively now. We're not quite as good as the people at the top, but we're pretty good at it, so we use it on our children, and then our children learn it.
Okay, but you said, let's go back where you said waking up from the dream world, awaken, transformation is the destruction of the wealth.
Exactly. And of money. and of the government, and of the churches, and of the schools. It's the total annihilation of our world as we know it.
It's the total ending of the world as we know it.
As we know it, yes.
The
That's what
suffering, the pain, the
it's
greed, the wealth, the poor.
It's the same thing as the Big Bang was in the beginning, only this Big Bang is a psychological Big Bang, which says enough is enough.
But you are awakened, Edward, and you're still buying into. We still have to have the physical things. All the things you buy, or
if you wake up in Rome, what's the first thing you need to do if you wake up in Rome?
Well, I know you
look around. You look around and see what else everybody else is doing, and.
Well, how does it end? How do you end the manipulation if you're in Rome and you do as the Romans do? You
have been observing that with me for some time. What have you been observing me doing for only 6 years out of the 30 years I've been doing it? What do I do with people? I don't know how you're going to put this all in writing, by the way.
Well, I don't either. I don't know that I am.
But you see, this is the ending. This is. You could actually call this World War III if you took the word war out. Because it's the ending of what we now call, or what I call, the conspiracy of ineffectiveness.
So you're saying it's something that cannot be stopped?
Well, it's something that
transformation, I'm going to call it transformation of consciousness.
Transformation of consciousness is fine. It cannot be stopped.
And you're saying it cannot be stopped?
Unless we're blown off the planet first.
Unless we're blown off of the planet, or unless we destroy ourselves by
some
heat wave, or
we're hit from outside space or ice age, or
comets.
Yeah, some asteroid hitting us, or ourselves. Ahmadinejad buying himself a new cocktail.
So you don't think this movement of transformation of consciousness will be stopped?